Thank you so much for being here today. We are going to be talking about making sales your wingman, making the most of the relationship. It's going to be a really fun 30 minutes, we hope. But let's just dive right on in. I'll let Rachel kick us off.
Hi guys. Well, we're so excited you guys joined us. I know it's after lunch and it's the last day, so we're second to last day. Super excited that you guys joined us. I am Rachel Cook, if I haven't met you yet. I am a solutions consultant on our Event Cloud team. So I work with all of our customers and prospects, evaluating our products and just making sure that everything is a fit before you purchase. I also have the pleasure of being joined today by our favorite event marketing team member, which is Robin Clark. For those who don't know, she is one of our favorite event promoters internally. So she's going to go through some of her best tips behind the scenes, how she riles us up to get ready for this event, and how we got all of you here on the sales team. But more importantly, some tips and secrets at how we get that all done using technology, using our internal tools, as well as communication. So very excited, and I will let her start us off.
That was a great hype. Yes, Robin Clark. I am behind every email that you received. My team was behind that. We're so delighted that you are here. My favorite part of event promotion and getting folks to this event actually is the engagement that I get to spend with sales. So the next 30 minutes are super near and dear to my heart. I love sales. I love sales so much. I married a salesman that prior worked for this company. That's how invested I am in our sales org. So let's get started. Today, the conversation is primarily going to be focused around that sales partnership as it pertains to Cvent CONNECT. So, we're going to talk about the magnitude of Cvent CONNECT first and foremost. We have 4x the amount of promotion, like the timeline, the marketing mix, the you name it, that goes into Cvent CONNECT promotion against any other single marketing effort. 4 times the amount, right? We have about 10 times the budget. So hopefully you've had a great week and it shows. Because we spend a pretty penny on it, right? As far as pipeline and bookings, this event, the 3 to 4 days that we are here this week, equals hundreds, if not thousands, of individual form fills, webinars, tactics, touch points across the rest of our marketing mix. We get all of that knocked out in pipeline and bookings right here at this event. We get our customers and prospects present. We are able to discuss your accounts with you. We are able to get business done. That's the power of face-to-face events. And we have 450 plus Cventers on site this week, right? So that is just a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of Cventers that have been behind the scenes working to promote and get this event where it is today for the last 6 to 9 months. So when it comes to the number of hands that we have, cooks in the kitchen, it's all of them. And that's what we're talking about today, specifically the sales aspect of it. So getting into that, nobody dislikes a good visual. And we're going to talk for a second about wrangling sales, first and foremost, right? And we have a special guest with us today. You'll see him many times throughout the course of our, our presentation. Graham Power, thanks so much for being here. So if any of you have ever worked with sales, you understand that wrangling sales can be a bit of a feat. If you could back up maybe a little bit. All right. Okay, here we go. And we're only doing it once, folks. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I did it. Not a chance in the hot place is that going to work. Yay! Okay, thanks so much, Graham. Come on back, buddy. Thanks for being here. Again, you'll see him a few times. Thank you, Graham. So that is very fun. It's also rare. It's rare that I'm actually able to successfully wrangle my sales team. So that was I don't even know what to do with myself right now. That was just not expected. But it is what it happens when you invest and when you take the time to truly get invested with your sales team, wrangling them and getting them kind of in line with what you're trying to accomplish. So over the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about 3 specific ways to work with your sales team to get the most out of them and see greatest possible event success. I boiled that down into 3 buckets. Motivate, activate, validate, right? These are we'll talk about this throughout the whole session, but motivating first and foremost. You really want to cheerlead and champion your sales team, right? You want to build them up. You want to make sure that they understand that they can and will be an absolute powerhouse to your event's success. So you really do want to motivate them. But then you can't just leave it at that. You can't just cheerlead them on and hope that they do well. You have to activate them, right? You have to make sure that you give them the tools, the resources, the communications that are enabling them to succeed and to meet your expectations when it comes to what you're trying to accomplish for your event success. Finally, you've got to validate. We love our trusted sales partners, but we don't trust our trusted sales partners. We've got to validate everything that they do. We've got to use the data to make sure that we get that done. And so that's going to be the last part that we talk about today. And we're going to be discussing that in terms of pre, during, and post-event. So as we get into that, I'm going to start with the pre-event motivation and what we think that looks like here at Cvent.
Be there.
That's it.
Yeah. Just be there. No matter where he goes, be there. He gets a drink, be there. He talks to his friends, be there. At the end of the night, be there.
And that's my advice to you. Be there. When it comes to your event, you want to get in front of sales, and you want to be the thing that they never, ever, 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 ever have a chance to forget about, okay? So this timeline that you see at the bottom of this slide, it represents a number of touch points, milestones along the way in our event promotion, and the number of times and the number of methods, the manner of methods that we leverage to get in front of our sales team, right? So you see there are crowds of people there. That represents the rallies that I'm hosting with our sales teams. That's about 1,000 plus people across the Cvent organization where I get in front of them, and it is truly a rally. It is that motivation. It is, we've got this, we can do this, Cvent Connect is coming, it is important, let's rally around it. That's the energy. And then we've got some smaller, more focused meetings that are happening, again, throughout the entire life cycle of our promotion. And that's happening with the sales leaders, so that I know I'm not trying to promote this event or drive the success of this event in a vacuum. I've got my sales leaders on my side in my corner. That happens consistently, weekly, in fact. I also am jumping into team meetings. We have a number of line of business meetings throughout our sales organization where I hop in. I want to hear exactly what a question that a junior sales rep that's in front of our prospects, the questions they're asking are starkly different than the questions that our more senior sales reps are asking when they're talking to their tenured clients, right? So for me to get in front of my sales reps and hear their questions, understand where there's confusion, a conference of this size, there's no way that these humans can retain all of the information that we, behind the scenes of the event, have just kind of committed to memory. They're gonna have questions, and they need to know it's okay to have those questions, ask those questions, and know that it's a safe place for them to get the answers to those questions. So again, creating that two-way communication throughout the entire process of the promotional life cycle. So moving on, I'm going to pass it over to Rachel because there's Graham again, handsome fella. Thanks so much again, Graham. Pass it over to you, Rach.
I'm gonna say, you know your sales team trusts your event team when they're willing to come into their session to be lassoed with a real lasso. That's hard. Like, it physically might have hurt him.
Trusted us, yeah.
So now we know and love our sales reps. We love them so much and we know them so well that we know if anyone's not gonna read an email, it's gonna be them. So we need to find the ways that we can reach them, almost make it so easy for them to find those call to actions that they accidentally stumble upon it. Like, we want them to wake up one day and be like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. Great. So the way we do that is through all of the channels possible. Every single possible way that we can get this in front of them, we will. So a few of the ways we do that is through technology that they spend every day in. Things like their Zoom. So we have our banners, we have our backgrounds, we get those logos in front of them. We also do have technology like Seismic, which we use to promote different collateral sales resources. We have something called a digital sales room, which you have probably been sent. In those, we populate those tools with Connect resources. So things like, know before you go, things like business use case, how do we help you convince your leadership that you need to go to this event? So we make those super available. Sales is already in that tool. We want them to be able to use it. We also use tools such as, we changed slides.
Oh,
no, this is more fun. Let's stay here.
Sorry, darling.
We can move on. No, we're good. Go to the next one.
Okay.
Yay, okay. We also have set it and forget it. So we talked about Zoom backgrounds, but we want our logo and our branding everywhere. We want to make it super visible. So we give these to sales early. They put it in their Zoom background. They leave it on for the next year. I'm pretty sure Graham still has Zoom's background from 2 years ago from Connect. He still uses it. But that's what makes it easy. We have email signatures, LinkedIn posts, branding. You probably saw some of our speaker bios. So things like that we can put in their hands that they can leave. And then, of course, you guys see it when you meet with them on site.
So with that, we're going to keep the conversation going about we're still in right? Pre-event. And we're still talking motivation, right, and what it takes. So sales is ingrained to think, speak, act, money. So you talk money when it comes to motivation. Big money, Tame, yeah? And each of the 5 kind of pillars that you see on the screen there, we implement those in across our Cvent org when it comes to getting sales really involved and really engaged in what we want them to do. So our comp plans, right? We have some sales reps that are incentivized. They get money per registration, right? Next up, leaderboards. We know that sales wants to see success. They certainly don't want to see that they're at the bottom of a leaderboard. We've got to have their names in lights, right? Like Bob is crushing it, Sally is crushing it, David's not, right? Like they really respond to that, getting that out and that kind of exposure. Next up is event exposure. So like I mentioned, we have 450 folks here on site at Cvent Connect. Most of those are sales, right? Or just shy of most of those, about 50-50, are sales. They earn their way here. The opportunity for sales reps to work and attend an event like this is incredible, not just for their client conversations, closing deals, things like that, but for career growth. Our sales reps are here getting more face time with their executives and with a greater network within their industry than they would at any other single point. That is very incentivizing for a sales rep to be told, you will earn your way if what you are doing is promoting this event and driving registrations, right? Spiffs. So cash incentives that are dependent on a specific time frame. We did this in the last couple weeks of this year's promotion cycle where I said, within this time frame, I want to see you drive X number of registrations. Those that do it, and we offered them some cash incentives. So spiffs are certainly something that you can leverage within a kind of a specific defined time frame. And finally, this is a no-brainer, sales has the opportunity to drive accounts and to drive attendees into a conference, into an event, in order to close business. Closed business for a sales rep does mean money in their pocket, right? So you have to really make sure that you leverage what you can in terms of the data. What we do here, all of this, all 5 of those pillars, we reference in our access portal, the Cvent Access Portal, and through Ref ID. So every single sales rep has their own unique Ref ID. They're inviting you to attend. It ties directly back to that sales rep, and we're able to track it. We're able to track who's doing well, who's doing poorly, and we're able to then report on that. So next up, we're going to talk about activating, right? We've gotten through kind of a nice motivation stage of the pre-event, and now we're going to talk about activation. And what we're going to talk about again? Money again. This is definitely right up sales alley again. And this time it's kind of a mix of money and just numbers, right? And that looks like goals. So we can bring our overall registration goal. This is what we're going to be doing in terms of year-over-year growth. This is what we're looking for in terms of pipeline and bookings closed. And we're able to kind of give them that higher arching opportunity and visibility into what is the company, the event total goal. But then breaking it down further. We have a number of lines of businesses in Cvent. We have many verticals, we have many personas, and we have sales teams and groups that are focused on very niche areas. We need to be able to break down and report on those various areas so that sales understands what's the target and then how are we tracking toward it. Finally, you've got to then break it down at the individual level because again, there is a natural inclination within sales to be, and it's exactly how God designed them, to be selfishly motivated. They want to know exactly what their individual target is. Yes, they're in a team mentality, but at the end of the day, they do have a very individual mind as well. And so you've got to break that down. For us, that looks like partnering very well with the sales leaders. So I give a team goal. And then let's say that team goal is 100, they have 10 reps, boom, the math is done. Each individual is responsible for 10 registrations. So you've got to make sure that you are doing that advanced work to make sure that you're delivering that information over to your team, working with your sales leaders, pushing that into their day-to-day goals, what their team meetings look like, carrot and stick kind of situation. And definitely do the work to make sure that it is digestible, that it is broken down and attainable, right? So with that, moving on into what that registration data looks like and what we leverage within Cvent and a number of other technologies so that we are able to track it. Quick sip. Sorry for that, folks. So the overall company goals, we're able to rely on Cvent and Salesforce for most of that. We build out incredible dashboards using just strictly Cvent data to look at how are we doing in year. We set a goal of whatever, and how are we doing against that goal? How are we doing across the lines of businesses, the verticals, by persona? All of the Cvent data is cranking out based on the number of registration types that we've created, based on titles, things like that. We're able to crank all of that out. when it comes to the vertical goals, lines of business, all of that really lives in this really incredible Cvent dashboard, right? Beyond that, for the sales reps, when we're looking at the individual goals, that information lives very clearly. Sales within our organization lives and breathes Salesforce. So we have those pieces of data living in Salesforce in dashboards for them to be able to track, here's my goal, here's how I'm tracking toward it in terms of tasks, numbers called, things like that. They're able to really tangibly track that. And then we also use Sigma. That gives us an incredible view of year-over-year pacing. How are we doing 7 months out from the event, 4 months out from the event, 3 weeks out from the event? That gives us a really clear view of year-over-year pacing and tracking so we can stay on top of it. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Rach because here Graham is again.
And you deserve a water break. So to give Robin some time to recover, I have to do my job, which is talk a little bit about how we use Cvent and our tools and integrations to get some of these tasks done. So first things first, we did release a new feature that our sales team has been using to help promote this to you guys, our customers and prospects, which is the shared agenda widget, the shared session agenda sharing widget. We have a lot of the same words in all of our features. Point is, what this allows us to do is utilize what we know about our prospects and customers. We talk with you every day. We hear about your events. We hear about what you want to learn about when you come to Connect. For anyone who's gone through the agenda, it's long. There are a lot of great pieces of content in it, which means not all of it is going to be for every attendee. Your sales rep is supposed to help you find and navigate that agenda. So what we did is create a feature where they can easily curate that agenda, set the filters, send it over to you so you know what you're looking for when you go to register. The other thing we did, the next slide.
Gotcha.
Thanks, man. Is we have an integration with Salesforce, which is my personal baby. It's what I spend my day in, is our integration with Salesforce. When we think about pre-registration, pre-event, obviously we have who do we want to invite? Who do we want to promote this to? But we also want to make sure that once they've registered, that's not it. We're not done there. We want to make sure we have time with you on site, that we've connected with you. Have you built your agenda? Have we booked a meeting with you? All of those tasks and reminders do have to live in Salesforce because that's where sales get their job done. So we have an integration with Salesforce that allows for task generation. We pull in insights about your previous registration history, who you are, if you are someone who's probably likely to come back this year. And so sales can prioritize those tasks in that order and reach out to you personally. And then last but certainly not least, which you all should have experienced, is our scheduling appointments tool in Attendee Hub. This is where they would go in to book those meetings with you, set a time, make sure there were enough tables or enough seats at the table. If they needed to loop me in, your SC, if we needed to get a VP in to come talk about the bigger picture of managing events in your larger program. This is how we would pull in those attendees, and not only that, make sure we have calendar invites for all of you. Yes, we want you in the app, but more importantly, that calendar or Outlook, Gmail, whatever you're using, that make sure you can keep that calendar appointment in your actual work calendar, so hopefully you don't miss them.
So we're going to transition now to during event, right? Hopefully that was a lot of really great information in terms of your promotion, pre-event, what we're leading up to. So let's talk about the motivation stage of that during event. And I love to say that this is kind of motivation by ego inflation, right? I really want to get in front of my sales reps. I really want to build them up. I want to make sure that they understand, listen, you, only you, can do what I'm asking you to do. I don't have the face-to-face interaction. I don't have the skill set. I don't have the XYZ. This is your time to shine, and I need you to do it. So really, really build them up, right? In so doing, you need them to really kind of absorb that and take on that ownership. Understand, all right, I am in a position of power, influence. I am the one that can get this done in a way that no one else can. The baton is being passed to me. And now let's go and execute. So they really have to absorb that information and understand that moving on into that last one, the pressure, it's a make or break. It truly is. Our sales reps, and please be vocal with us if necessary, they really can be great influences or make a really poor impression depending on how they are engaging with our clients and prospects on site. They really do need to understand that level of ownership, and it's kind of this mix of like, you can do it and you'd better do it, right? So that's how we approach our sales for this during event motivation. Moving on to the activation, this is really, really, really simple. We meet a lot, right? We communicate a lot. We put the information in their hands. We have a really great conference pre-con going over the full details of the conference. Again, there are a lot of details, so it's not a one and done. All right, guys, this is Cvent Connect 2024. Peace out, right? These are the details. This is the PowerPoint deck. This is your know before you go cheat sheet. This is a number of resources, right? And we leverage Confluence, which you see leveraged there. That's our intranet. So leading up to the event until we kind of launch Attendee Hub, we reference and utilize Confluence, which is our company intranet. We also leverage Slack. That's like instant messenger for the corporate world, right? You might be using Teams or something similar. We leverage Slack a lot. We build workflows to make our lives easier. If they have questions, there are a lot of workflows that are built in there for them to know this question has been asked 97 times, here's the answer. And then, of course, we do house everything in Cvent. And when we launch Attendee Hub, what you can't see is that my staff has a staff know before you go. It has every single resource and reference point that we've gone over with them and educated them on right there within Attendee Hub, within the app that we've made sure every single one of them has downloaded. And so that's their final and very best reference point because we want them engaging in the app just like we want all of you engaging in the app. When I said that we meet with them a lot, we do. And it's usually a girl doing it. I'm at the helm, and like I said, I am rally girl, I am 9 months in, I am, you guys, we can do this, we can do this. So this is a little snippet, I'm gonna cut it short probably, of us a few weeks ago. Let's see, is they're gonna play.
Who's gonna go get me 600 registrations right now? Yeah? Everyone? Great. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, we're not gonna listen to more of that. It's pretty rough, but I am. That's the energy that I bring to it. It goes on to say, like, you can do it. Take the passion with you. It's very obnoxious, especially to our Europe team. That's very fun. It's a fun dynamic. But this is also an example. What you see on these slides is more of the same, right? We're leveraging Slack to carrot and stick, right? And we do a lot of humor in this particular position. And so you'll see there's some threats, like this is from last year. You're not going to get into the evening event if you haven't, captured and qualified your leads. Make sure that you're not jumping into sessions that we need to be holding for our customers, things like that. So we do leverage the communication. We leverage the relationships that we've built, the rallying that we've done with sales throughout the full promo cycle to really drive home, listen, this is what we need from you. What you'll see here, kind of take a mental snap of some of this, particularly what we call the shame report on the right side of the screen there. We leverage the technology during the event to tell us how our sales team is complying, right? So the technology can tell us the number of appointments that have been checked into, the number of appointments that have been qualified with lead capture, and you want to bet that the number one takeaway that I intend for our sales to have out of any rally, out of any pre-con, is qualify your leads. This event for us doesn't go anywhere if we don't have the information coming out of it. And that's where so much of the ownership lies on them. So we do leverage that technology. We spend some time. We build some code, guys, in Slack to create a shame report so that we are able to say, and it's lighthearted, it's fun. We say, guys, you're doing a great job, but we need you to qualify your leads. It allows us in real time. Truly, I'm sitting in our staff office looking at my list of sales reps who have yet to qualify their leads. All right, get this done before we leave the show floor today. See you at the event tonight, that kind of thing. And then constantly communicating throughout the process. So I think I can pass it back to you, Rach.
And this one's going to be a quick one, but just so you guys can see a little bit behind the scenes of what your sales reps are looking at, this is our lead capture app. So it's pretty simple the way we run it. We get out licenses to all of our sales team, remind them 20 times they need to use their license code and log in and make sure they have the app. Most of them do by now, which is good news for us. From there, they're able to scan your badge pretty quickly. So hopefully some of you have seen how quick that can be. And then we make this super straightforward. Quick questions, multi-choice, single choice, text box, speech to text, my favorite feature ever. I have big thumbs, I don't like to type. So if you see any of your sales reps in the corner like whispering to themselves, I'm like 90-ish% sure they're not crazy, but that's probably what they're doing. So little behind the scenes of what that looks like and what they're seeing when you're talking to them.
So I think we'll move into post-event, right? You're kicking us off in post-event.
But you were doing such a good job.
Guys, Rachel is killing it, so I'm gonna keep you going. Sorry, Rach.
So well, I was convinced. Okay, really quick, because Robin has been doing a great job today, and I do want to give her like a minute to like breathe and drink. So a little bit about pre or post-event. We're post-event now. All of this work, pre, during, it's amazing, it's great, but really it doesn't matter unless the post-event data doesn't matter unless we do the pre-event data right. Unless all of our sales reps have gone out and met with their clients, they've met with their prospects, they've taken great notes, we can take those notes and we can move them into Salesforce. None of it matters unless we have those steps. So once we do have that data, that is the primary lift. We've spent the most time prepping and strategizing for how we did that. Now we're after. We get to put our feet up. We can go drink a pina colada. We can take a nap. I'm ready for my nap right now, as you can tell. What we need to do to put that data into Salesforce or into our CRM or into our marketing automation is organize them, score our leads. So some of the ways we do that, on the next slide, is we understand our engagement scoring. Now, what is this? Every interaction we have with you on site gets counted differently, right? Every time we talk to you, everything you touch, every session you attend, it all gets tracked differently. We have session check-in, we have appointments, we have activations, and they all mean different things too, right? We have different buying signals at events like these. So how do we figure out which buying signals mean the most or maybe qualify a lead to be hit up in a priority, maybe faster than someone else after the event? We do that by scoring our leads. So for example, if we want to look at our total attendee list and the activations and the activities they took, what might we score higher than another? So one example is a keynote. If I have someone who's attending the celebrity keynote, Karamo, who is today, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, super excited. He's on my schedule. Sorry, Robin. But for a keynote session, maybe not scored as high as a session like this, or our attendee hub session, or our event app session. Things like if I raise my hand, qualitative information, did someone request a demo? We obviously want to be with them first. So how do we score those leads? How do we make sure that those get into Salesforce first so we can prioritize hitting them up after the event? And now, I'm understanding the dry mouth thing. I feel it now. Last but certainly not least, we have integrations. You've heard us talk about this. I don't want to belittle the point, but especially for this conversation. Obviously, a lot of our customers still do this manually. Import, export, import, export. It takes time, you lose data. The most important thing now more than ever is that your teams are getting smaller, more responsibilities are being put on one person's plate. You don't always have people to hire who can help you do this. Integrations are, I don't want to say the people we can't hire, but they ensure that we have the support we need. So being able to integrate to your MarTech, your CRM, making sure tasks get generated. We don't lose data. We can carry that score with them into our CRM so we know this was our top lead list, our medium, and maybe we'll hit them up in a week or so. So those integrations are huge to ensure that we do this efficiently and we don't miss out on that window post-event. And now I'll pass it back to you.
So again, in post-event, a lot of motivation in getting the right information to our sales reps, right? They know what's in it for them now. A lot has gone into the event, and they know that this is kind of their time to shine and really close some deals and get some stuff done, right? So it really does move quickly into activating post-event and making sure that, to answer Graham's question of how on earth do I know how to prioritize these tasks, we're giving them the information that Rachel just walked us through. So all of that engagement scoring, the lead capture notes, product interest, every piece of information from their journey throughout Cvent Connect, we bottle that up, we categorize it well for them, we deliver that to our sales teams in that post-event task, and they're able to start hitting the ground running, and that happens within hours of the show floor closing, or the conference closing, right? And you'll see a quick snippet there that's just an idea, a glimmer of what one of our tasks looks like. And it falls right in line with exactly how our sales behaves, right, in normal tasks day to day. Validating, which is, of course, my favorite aspect of this. We are able to see then, we've delivered these post-event tasks to our sales team, and we are able in real time to see, are they immediately calling on them? How are they doing in calling on them? This feeds into later on the kind of pipeline and bookings waterfall that we're able to see. And so we're able to stay on top of that because, in my opinion, for Cvent Connect, and some of you were in my session yesterday on trade shows and events that you attend, time kills all deals. Time kills all leads, right? We don't love that, we don't want that, we can't have that. So they are really to prioritize expeditiously getting into these tasks and making something happen of them. So this is a familiar slide. Again, it's just those same 3 tips, but it's at the end of the presentation, so they're my takeaways. And that is simply, I want you to focus on motivating your sales team, looking at what that looks like in your relationships with them and with your sales leaders and with your marketing leaders and your executives. I want you to really focus on activating them, knowing how important getting those resources, those tools, those communication lines available to your sales team, how important that is. You do have to invest your own time in making sure that that's set up and set up well. and then leveraging the data that is at your fingertips at all of these various touch points to validate throughout the process and make sure that you are seeing the results that you are putting a lot of expectations onto your sales team, and you rely a lot on them, and you need to see them deliver, and you're able to validate that throughout the entire process. So I think with that, we have 24 seconds left. Aren't we glad we started 17 seconds early? But thank you to Rachel so much for being the brains behind this operation. Thank you all for being here today. We did save a couple minutes for Q&A. I do want to keep you all on schedule. If you want to pop open your app and drop any questions into the app right now, into this session, you can, and we'll stick around. Either we can answer them one-off or we can keep the mics on for just a moment. But either way, Rachel and I are happy to reach out to you through the app and continue the conversation. A couple quick takeaways. We would love for you to take the session survey. Let us know how we did. Let us know if this is some content you'd want to see when you are back here in person in 25. We'd love to have you. So do fill out the survey. We read literally every comment. We read every single dot you put on a survey. Make sure that you do take the time to do that because we spend a lot of time focusing on that. And then please, please, please do connect with Rachel, Robin on LinkedIn. We would love to be best friends forever. Beyond this event, while you are still here, I'm sure most of you have already attended one, but if you've not, please jump on one of the mobs of humans that are walking through this convention center on one of the tech tours. It's an absolute can't miss. So please be sure to hop into one of those. It's the best possible behind the scenes. Draw back the curtains, see the tech in action. You'll come away so inspired. So do jump into one of those tech tours. And finally, thanks a million for being here. We appreciate you.